Meantime, Harvard's on the hot seat, and President Trump is not backing down. The president going head-to-head with the Ivy League powerhouse, accusing Harvard of stonewalling federal investigators and shielding foreign students tied to anti-American protests. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce says it's an issue bigger than Harvard.
Harvard's in the news. It's a big story. It's perhaps an easy story to cover, but it's not just Harvard. It is the nature of our ability to, again, know who's coming in. And perhaps, when it comes to vetting, there are many tools in our tool chest. We do know that it's worth checking visas as visas expire. We've seen historically people don't necessarily leave when their visas expire.
Let's bring in attorney Seth Berenzweig. Seth, you are a constitutional lawyer. Harvard says the president is exceeding his authority in what he is demanding of that institution. What do you say?
Well, I think Harvard ultimately is going to lose this case. Harvard University is at the center of the Trump administration's attempt to refine and protect American values, and also slots for young American students to actually attend these supposedly elite universities. Keep in mind that a lot of these foreign students that come in a program administered by DHS, led by Kristi Noem, have had these kinds of anti-West, anti-American, anti-Israel protests. These are students that are coming in that are taking slots away from American students. What the administration has been doing under full legal authority and through DHS in this instance is to tell schools like Harvard University that we are not going to allow and will in fact decertify your foreign student programs. And now there was a judge late this week that gave a temporary reprieve to Harvard University in ruling that an injunction should issue against the Trump administration. Ultimately, I think that the administration will win, Harvard will lose. The administration is doing the right thing. They are acting fully authorized by law. DHS administers this program. The State Department also is in charge of visas. And when an Obama-appointed judge, such as this one this week in Massachusetts, tries to overturn the apple cart, ultimately it's going to fail.
Doug Schoen is well known to viewers on Fox, also a well-known Democratic operative. He says it never should have reached this point. Here's what he wrote on Fox News Digital. He says, of course, it should not take the president of the United States to bring American universities in line with their own codes of conduct, nor should it take the power of the White House to force Harvard to crack down on the scourge of anti-Semitism and anti-American extremism that has overrun its campus. And yet, this is where we now find ourselves. It is my hope as an alum and as an American that the Trump administration and Harvard come to a solution whereby the university realizes it cannot continue to permit or reward students who so blatantly violate the code of conduct, either of the university or of the United States. So that is Doug's wish. He wants, the two sides to come together and reach an agreement. Right. But what do you think? It doesn't seem like Harvard really is inclined to budge here.
Well, quite the opposite. And by the way, I agree with that statement completely. Harvard has been absolutely opposing this. They've made that clear in their speeches. And think about this. The administration is trying to revoke the tax-exempt status of Harvard University. They have $53 billion in their endowment fund. They're acting like a VC firm. They would ordinarily have to pay those tax dollars, but the only reason they're getting a free ride is because they supposedly support American values. We know that's not the case. If these institutions want to live in a clueless ivy tower and they want to live there tax-free, America should not have to pay that rent. So I agree with that sentiment, and I think that the administration ultimately, either in the district court or in the appellate court, is definitely going to win this case. There's really no role for federal judges to even come in and overturn this. And while there are short-term setbacks that the administration has faced lately, as we've seen in other litigation instances, ultimately they come out on top. So the administration is right on this. They're right on the policy. They're right on the law. And when you look at these disgusting commencement speeches, you can see that President Trump is doing the right thing.
Okay, but again, you're a constitutional attorney, and people can get up at a microphone at commencement and say whatever they want, can't they?
Well, there are reasonable time, place, and manner regulations and restrictions on freedom of speech, and even MIT, which can be, with all due respect, a pretty woke institution, even recognize that as a result of this disgraceful commencement speech. So there are time, place, and manner regulations that can apply to freedom of speech. Also, as we've seen in other Ivy League campuses, such as in New York with Columbia University, Mahmoud Khalil supposedly had freedom of speech, but he went in and engaged in violent activity, and after some initial setbacks, once again, the Trump administration won, and ultimately now it looks like he's going to be deported as well. So he came in trying to fly a First Amendment banner. It didn't work for him. It's not going to work for the schools. Look for these litigation trends to continue in the administration's favor over the next couple of months.
How much of this anti-Israel and maybe anti-American sentiment is being fueled or maybe funded by, enemy nation states?
Oh, there's no question about that. I mean, take a look, for example, at Qatar. Qatar has been sending billions of dollars to universities in the United States for over 10 years. And in fact, it's recently been uncovered that Qatar even sends money to K through 12 programs. You look at a lot of these universities that have these educational programs that have been instituted. There's a lot of foreign money that's going into these institutions. That's something that needs to be reviewed as well. Some of these student organizations have been exposed as fronts, and students like this MIT student and more centrally Mahmoud Khalil have actually been actively supporting foreign terrorist organizations, which is one of the reasons why the Trump administration has been winning in the courts. So you've identified a very important factor that goes into the whole flow of events and again supports the reason why the administration needs to continue to fight to protect American values, taxpayer funds, and to allow young American students to be able to get these slots in these competitive universities.
Seth Berenzweig, constitutional attorney, thanks for coming on.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.